Hello, welcome back to my channel, Intuitive Insights in Tarot. I'm Scott. Today I'd like to share something with you. This is an interview done by Cathrine Edwards with well, Hunter Dean, I think his name is. But anyway, so what I'd like to do for you today is play this video so you can learn a little bit more about Asea. I don't have my blue bottle here with me. Here's one of the Here's the Renew 28 that I've been using on my face and it's been helping me. And I have to tell you, I've been feeling much healthier, just more energy. I find I recover quicker from my workouts. My digestion is better. Um, Things like small injuries heal faster. Hello, Cherie. Thank you for being there. I knew you'd show up. Cherie, you've been using the Asea now for a little bit. Have you noticed any difference? And maybe and anybody out there, if because I know a lot of you already know about ASEA and you've got it from different people, maybe Cathrine Edwards. Um, I'd like you to put in the chat your experience with ASEA. I'm just going to play this interview real quick with Hunter. I want you to hear about him explaining the science. And I've decided I'm going to make it easier for people to learn about this and to get a free reading from me. So if you're someone who may have an interest in ASEA, whether it's because your health is not quite what you want it to be, or maybe you have a family member who's suffering from chronic illness, pretty much across the board, ASEA makes the body able to fight off the stresses of life, diseases, and things like that. Um, then this could be something for you. Or if you're maybe you're not out of work right now and you don't have a lot of money coming in. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're someone who's like a real go-getter, like a real salesperson, which I'm not, then you might consider ASEA as a possible career, or at least a way to get some extra passive income coming in while you're also doing your full-time job. And if you put a lot of work into it, like I said, if you're a real if you're the type of person who can sell ice to an Eskimo, or maybe I should say indigenous people of the North, right? And I don't think we're supposed to say that word anymore. Then it's something that could be a career for you. Without further ado, I'd like to share my screen and listen to what Hunter has to say about this product. Find it here. Oops, not on that screen. There we go. Say about. Oops, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Oh, I thought I had it queued up here. Sorry, guys. I know where to find it. If you want to see the full interview, you can go to Cathrine Edwards' page. But here we go. Okay.
And as an engineer who's focused on optimization, it's really an exciting that benefit people all around the world.
I love it. And it really does give you a unique insight into these redox molecules. So before we really get into it, what are redox signaling molecules and how do they link to ASEA? Because we sort of sometimes talk about redox signaling molecules, sometimes talk about ASEA. Talk us through the connection.
Sure. So redox signaling molecules are tiny, high energy molecules. Because they are tiny, they can be absorbed directly into the cell. once absorbed, they act almost as an on-off switch, turning on genetic signals and pathways that turns on cell signaling or cell communication. Once a cell has been turned on, once it begins signaling, it signals to the cells around it. Those cells signal to the cells around them, beginning what we call a cascade or domino effect.
Mm.
And this happens throughout the entire cellular network of the body. And it's that cascade or domino effect that contributes to our resilience to stress and overall wellness. So really the key there is redox signaling molecules are high energy molecules that are capable of turning on and off important pathways and functions in the body that contribute to our overall wellness. Now, the difference between redox signaling molecules and Asea, why do we use those somewhat interchangeably, is the original product that came out from the company Asea was called the Asea Redox supplement. You have that blue bottle there in your background.
Yeah.
And so when we say drink your Asea, we mean supplement with redox signaling molecules. That Asea Redox supplement is a solution that contains redox signaling molecules. And we also offer Renew 28, which is a gel that contains
I take
redox
it.
signaling
Mm.
molecules. And so don't get confused if we ever happen to say drink your Asea or put your Asea on. We're talking about supplementing with redox signaling molecules, which are incidentally made inside the body. They're native to the body. We're supplementing compounds that are native to the body to be able to help the body heal the body.
I love this so much. I really love it. I can't wipe the smile off my face because there's so much research in so many different areas coming out that links into what you guys are doing at Asea. Because I know from everything, when you look at the link between soil health and the communication and the signaling that goes on there to what's happening in our microbiome and in every cell of the body. So we're going to dive deep into this one. So we talk a lot about Asea being ahead of the game and a global leader with redox research. What do we mean by that, and why are we not hearing about loads of other companies doing this?
Sure, there's a few reasons for that. So when Asea was founded nearly 15 years ago at this point, its vision statement was to become the global recognized leader in redox and cellular health technologies. And so that's a main focus, and everything we do from a strategic standpoint in the business is to achieve that vision. If you remember, perhaps 10, 15, the last 20 years or so, the industry has been inundated with the concept of antioxidants, right? We've all heard of antioxidants and how they're great for us, and it's true, they are. They do great things in the body. They help to eliminate free radicals. They are important to our health. Um, but it's only one side of the story. Um, the more and more that the field kind of looks into this concept of redox homeostasis or redox balance, the more the medical and wellness community is beginning to realize, hey, the body has to be able to respond in both directions, not just one. There are reductants and there are oxidants, and you can have stress on both sides. And so you need to be able to respond either direction. Antioxidants help us respond in one direction, but we need to be able to respond in both. Redox signaling molecules enable us to respond in both directions. It makes us more resilient to stress. Now, why has nobody else done this?
Mm.
Redox molecules, if you remember, are high energy tiny molecules. Any molecule that is high energy is by nature extremely reactive, meaning they are unstable. The breakthrough in Asea is not so much that we're able to create redox signaling molecules. We've known of redox signaling molecules for the past century. It's that we are able to provide stabilized redox signaling molecules, so much so that it can be shipped around the world in a bottle and taken as a supplement. And so that process there, the stabilization is what makes Asea unique. And quite frankly, that's the proprietary technology behind Asea that we have patents and intellectual property to protect. But that's largely why there's really no competition in the space right now, is because the difficulty of stabilizing these redox signaling molecules.
Yeah, it's just fantastic, and there's so much information out there that people can look at, and I can signpost them to on the fact that they really do work. But before we get into that side of things, so one thing that gets asked a lot, and it's a tricky thing always to discuss in the public domain, is why we can't talk about specific diseases and why Asea can't do research into the use of their redox with specific diseases. And my understanding, Hunter, is to do with how the product is classified, and that's absolutely crucial. Can you talk us through so people can understand why they're not seeing testimonials all over the place on specific diseases?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It has to do with product classification. Um, Again, if we go back to the vision statement of achieving global distribution,
Mm.
Vertus Norton, Tyler Norton, when they founded this company, they felt that they wanted to get this product out to as many people as possible. Um, that does not occur through a pharmaceutical channel. And so we are classified in the United States as a nutritional supplement. We're classified a little bit differently depending on which country you consider of the 33 in which we currently do business around the world. And what dictates claims on a product is how you are classified. And so redox being an incredibly unique technology, many countries don't know how to classify us. And so they'll throw us in as an electrolyte beverage, or they'll throw us in as a saline solution, or they'll, in the US, we're fortunate enough to be classified as a nutritional supplement. So we have a few more claims that we can make here in the United States than we can in other areas of the world. Um, but we have to limit our claims to that to which we are classified as a product. Now, that's not to say that those benefits are not real.
Yeah.
It just means that we have to be careful about how we talk about them. An additional point to consider is we've been asked, well, why don't you do research on disease state X or disease state Y? Why don't you do research on this illness or that illness? That type of research, if we were to conduct and receive results that show, hey, there are benefits to be had with disease state X, that immediately pushes us into a pharmaceutical category. And that is not something from the imperatives of the business or the goals of the business from a founder's level that we want to participate in. We want to participate in a channel that allows us to share this with as many people around the world as possible, and we are severely limited in achieving that vision if we were to be shifted into a pharmaceutical category. And so that's why we have to be a little careful about claims. That's why we have to be a little careful about doing research on specific health challenges, is to maintain our classification in the different countries around the world.
Thank you. That's so well explained, Hunter. And I really wanted people to understand that because, of course, most people don't understand the intricacies of these unless you're into the industry. And the last thing that we want to do is mess up the accessibility for people getting hold of this, wherever we are. So we really appreciate that. Well, before we dive into the research, let's address the elephant in the room. Is this just salt water from Salt Lake City? I love this one. Yeah.
Yep. I can 100% confirm that it is not just salt water from Salt Lake City, Utah. 2 years ago, we had an FDA auditor come in and do a week-long audit. We have an NSF certification for the facility. We undergo extensive testing with our partner BQC in Spain that specializes in redox testing. We've been third-party verified to have redox potential in the bottle. It is not just salt water from Salt Lake City, Utah. We spend a huge amount of resource to validate this product and to make sure that it is tested, every single lot, in fact, internally as well as by a third party, to verify the efficacy and the presence of these redox signaling molecules.
And I 100% know, and everyone who's using it themselves know. But I think one of the things that's so difficult for the general public to understand is the labeling requirements of having to put the starting ingredients on there. I almost explain it, well, if you look at a loaf of bread, it's not going to say loaf of bread on there. It's going to say all the ingredients that have gone in there. Is that the same in the market that Asea's on? Is that the legislation that drives what has to be on the label?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are required based on our classification to put the starting ingredients on the packaging. It's a unique product in that there is not a redox signaling molecule category.
Yeah.
Um, and so if we were to put that on there, we would be disqualified from being able to distribute products in many countries. Um, the main thing that I try and illustrate is ASEA is special in that the efficacy of the product lies in the process of manufacturing. Many supplements that we take, you can look to the facts panel and say, oh, NMN, I know that that's a good, that's a good ingredient. Oh, L-theanine, that's a good ingredient. GABA, that's a good ingredient. You're chasing ingredients for known effects. ASEA's benefits lie within the manufacturing process, not within the raw ingredients themselves. It is that patented electrochemical process that is proprietary to ASEA that gives the benefit. And so that's not something you put on an ingredients panel. And so that's kind of the reasoning behind why when people look at the facts panel, they just see salt and water. It is not just salt water from Salt Lake City, Utah, but that's because the benefit doesn't come from the ingredient set. It comes from the process that we apply to that ingredient set in our facility in Pleasant Grove, Utah.
Perfect, perfect. I think that clarifies it. And I think this is where it's so difficult for companies like yours, where there's so much explanation that needs to go into why things are being done the way they are. So let's dive into the research then. This is the bit I'm so excited about. Now, I'm going to throw a few things at you so that you can decide how to answer them, because I think they all link together. But one of the things, Hunter, I get asked about a lot of people have heard of glutathione, and it's quite big in, it's being bandied about everywhere. So can you, when you're talking us through some of the latest research that ASEA has done, sort of link it back to the glutathione side of things that a lot of people are asking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, So there were two major studies that we conducted last year. We have some others that were going on that are still underway. But two of the research studies that we kind of shared and alluded to last year and recently released a white paper at the end of 2023 were based out of the University of Western Sydney, which received federal funding from the Australian government, by the way, and the University of Bath in England. We were looking specifically at what's called the NRF2 pathway, the NRF2 pathway. And the basis for this studies goes back to 2017. We did a collaborative study with Torre Labs, and they found that the upregulation and downregulation of different genes in the body. And one of the genetic pathways that they said that they noticed an upregulation in was the NRF2 pathway. This was interesting to us because NRF2 is one of the principal pathways that your body has to combat inflammation. It is one of the principal pathways that your body has to combat oxidative stress. And so we looked at that and we said, hey, we need to look into the mechanism of action, or how it is that this works in the body with redox signaling molecules. So we partnered with the University of Western Sydney, University of Bath, and did some research, and we found through the process of measuring through bioluminescence, visual evidence of NRF2 expression in the body. Now, the reason that's significant is one of the proteins that is made when NRF2 activity is ongoing in the body is glutathione. If you have more NRF2, you have more glutathione as a product of that. Glutathione is a protective protein that is free to go throughout the body and really combat inflammation and oxidative stress. It's really how the body addresses that stress that it's experiencing. And so when you see an increase in NRF2, you will logically see an increase in protective proteins, not just glutathione, but that's one of the principal ones. In fact, we see that a up to a 60% increase in NRF2 activity
Wow.
leading to numbers like 40 to 60% increases in glutathione, which is absolutely amazing when you consider this is one of the main pathways that your body has to combat inflammation. When you can increase by 40 to 60% that pathway, there are huge health benefits to be gained from that.
It's just incredible. I think I'm just taking a pause here because I think it's really important for people to let that sink in. And what's so beautiful about the way that it's being done is it's basically, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Hunter, it's giving the body the tools it needs to do this work itself. So you've got things that are native to the body, not introducing a synthetic version of something, which is just wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. These signaling molecules that we supplement through Asea redox are being made in the cell through the mitochondrial function all the time. It's happening all the time, hundreds of thousands, if not millions and millions of times a day. These redox signaling molecules are being made and used by the body. We're just simply supplementing something that the body already knows how to make and use naturally. Um, this may get overly technical for the format here, but really what's happening is the more signaling molecules that you can provide to the cell, the more NRF2 you can separate from something called keep one. Keep one and NRF2 are bound together within the cell outside of the nucleus of the cell. In order for glutathione to be produced, NRF2 has to make its way to the nucleus, but it cannot make its way to the nucleus while it's bound to this keep one molecule. What happens is because these high energy molecules come in, it provides enough energy to release NRF2 from keep one and allow NRF2 to translocate to the nucleus. Once it's there, glutathione is produced. So if you supplement more and more of these of these redox signaling molecules, you can free up more NRF2 to go to the nucleus, which creates more glutathione to go out to the body. So that's the mechanism of action that we explain in the white paper and in the research. I know that was a super quick explanation and may get a little technical, but that's the basis on how redox signaling molecules from a mechanism of action standpoint, stimulate NRF2 activity.
Fantastic. No, I love it. I'm a biologist and I just love all this. It takes me back. And tell me, I'm correct, I think, in saying that a lot of the people that were doing these tests were pretty amazed at the results that you were getting.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, they were so amazed that we had in the contract when we designed the study, all of the tests were to be performed in triplicate for statistical significance, right? You don't want any outliers then going, drawing conclusions based on outliers. So we paid and wrote up the contract to have both universities do their studies in triplicate. About 4 to 5 months into the studies, they called us individually. They were not collaborating together, and we did that on purpose to make sure that we had two independent studies. But they had both called us probably within 2 or 3 weeks of each other and said, "Hey, we just went ahead and performed the test 9 times. The results that we were getting were so remarkable that we wanted to make sure that there was not an error in the test protocol, or that it was variability by who was performing the experiments. We did 6 extra times. We're going to include that data in the report, but we're not going to charge you for it because we just had to make sure that we were doing it correctly." Both universities gave us that exact same call and decided to do it 9 times because they were so astounded by seeing that 40 to 60% increase, because those are such large numbers, considering the mechanism of action.
It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. Absolutely gives me goosebumps because this to me is the perfect example of science and nature in real collaboration. And I know you can't talk about the ongoing research, but I know that you're very, very excited about some of the things that are ongoing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go back to that Torre lab study in 2017, there were close to 20 different genetic pathways that were proposed as being upregulated by signaling molecules. NRF2 was only one of those pathways. And so to be able to look into all of these different mechanisms of action in the body is really, really exciting. And we're already seeing some amazing results through different pathways in the body as well that we're excited to share. We're just not quite there yet.
No, I know. Don't worry. I won't be probing, but it makes me laugh because my husband says that's why I love the Asea so much, because I'm high energy, but also very reactive. So there's a synergy there. There's a synergy. So one of the things that I love Dr. Bruce Lipton, and so do my audience. And a lot of people are very well aware of epigenetics now. And a lot of people are also very well aware that there's a huge amount of stressors in our environment, from environmental toxins in our food, in our air, in our water. We won't even mention some of the others that might be putting stress on the bodies, EMFs. So how does this research and the mechanism of the redox tie into the epigenetics and the fact that we now know that many health challenges that not just us humans face, but also other animals and plants, are dictated by the stresses in our environment?
Yeah, yeah. Epigenetics is a really interesting field that is really kind of caught fire in the last decade or so.
Mm.
One of the core principles behind epigenetics is there are different forms of stress that can affect genetic performance, right? We have this baseline code that our body reads and performs based on that code, but stress can alter that code, can alter our ability to read that code. If you go back to a little bit earlier in our conversation, we talked about a resilience to stress. These redox signaling molecules create a resilience to stress, which is really kind of a protection for how we perform at a genetic and cellular level. Specifically with NRF2, NRF2 serves as a function to not only combat oxidative stress, NRF2 provides detox support as well. It serves a detox function within the cell to be able to kind of take out the trash, so to speak. Um, and so there are some important functions that NRF2 performs that protects us on an epigenetic level.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. And I think, it is very relevant to people because, we can make some lifestyle changes that protect ourselves, but some of them we really can't avoid very easily. So that's great. Now talk about athletes. I work with a lot of athletes, and there's a couple of questions that really come up with this, Hunter. First and foremost is, obviously, if you're a professional athlete, there's very strict legislation about supplements you are and aren't allowed to take. So can you talk us through whether professional athletes can take the Asea, and also in some ways that it could benefit them?
Yeah, yeah. First off, let me say that the Asea Redox supplement, the Renew 28 gel, and frankly, all of the products that we produce at Asea are totally free of any banned or illicit substances or performance enhancing compounds. Um, we have the NSF Sport certificate for the facility that certifies that every product that is manufactured at our facility in Pleasant Grove, Utah, is free of any of those performance enhancing compounds or banned or illicit substances as far as the world of athletic competition is concerned. That's ranging from cycling, Olympics, boxing, football, really any competition around the world recognizes that NSF Sport certificate. Our cell performance line, the stick pack line, we test every single initial lot of that line for WADA compliance, which is the World Anti-Doping Agency, to be able to certify that there are no banned or illicit substances in those products as well. We go through all of this effort in maintaining these certificates and testing against the WADA standards to ensure that athletes can take our products without fear of being in violation of some rule set within their sport.
That's fantastic. Now, I know from personal experience just how amazing the Renew 28 gel is. My daughter had to have a ACL reconstruction and meniscus reconstruction, well, actually two, because she's a soccer player, as you'd say in America. But the recovery, the first time she did it was pre-Asea, before we knew about Asea. The second time was post-Asea, and the difference in her recovery time and performance was just night and day. So talk us a little bit about the amazing Renew 28 gel.
Yeah, so the Renew 28 gel is also a method of supplementing with redox signaling molecules. The redox gel, Renew 28, contains roughly double the concentration of redox signaling molecules over the Asea redox supplement, the beverage. It's topical in nature, so it's you apply it to the skin, and really you're going to see a lot of the same benefits. In fact, the University of Western Sydney was using Renew. The University of Bath was the Asea redox supplement. So we were
Wow.
testing same pathway, but with two different products, two different methods of supplementation. So a lot of the NRF2 benefits, actually all of the NRF2 benefits that you see with the Asea redox supplement, you'll see more in a localized fashion with the Renew 28. So you talk about oxidative stress and inflammation reduction. You talk about supporting detoxification. Um, really, there are a ton of benefits to be had by being able to apply Renew 28 to a localized, call it problematic site,
Mm.
that will accelerate all sorts of biological functions that have really significant health outcomes.
Do you know, that is really amazing. That's the first time I heard, or perhaps, I'm sure you said it, but perhaps I missed it in all the information, that these studies apply to the Renin 28, because that's got huge implications for people that, for whatever reason, can't actually drink the Asea. And when we say drink, we do swill it round our mouths for 30 seconds before swallowing. So that's incredible. So for people where they've got children, or perhaps elderly people where it's difficult for them to take it, or it's just amazing, absolutely amazing. Now, you mentioned there about the detoxification. Everyone's talking about detoxification. So what role does the Asea have in helping the body with its detox pathways?
Yeah. Depending on where in the world you are, that the claims vary on what we can say from
Yeah.
detoxification. So I just want to be upfront about that, and I'm going to be careful to make this as compliant as possible. Is really the detoxification is dependent upon, or the support for detoxification is dependent upon the NRF2 pathway. It is known and it is widely studied that the NRF2 pathway plays a role in detoxification of the body. What's significant about the Asea products is that we are helping your body perform its own detoxification. The Asea product and the Renew 28 product, the redox signaling molecules, are not directly detoxifying anything. It is simply enhancing your body's ability, supporting your body's ability to detox itself through the NRF2 pathway. That is really the mechanism of action as far as how redox signaling molecules can support detoxification in the body.
To me, that's just absolutely perfect, Hunter, because, the fact of the matter is I'm one of the people that believe that we as humans can't design this or an animal, particularly not a cat, because there's nothing more perfect than a cat, any better than whatever you believe the creator is. So this assisting our bodies to do what it needs to do is absolutely fantastic. It's just amazing, isn't it? Now, look, the last bit about the research I wanted to ask you about, Hunter, is the longevity side of things. Has anything been done on that?
Yeah, we have an initial study looking at longevity, and again, this is one where, because of our product classification, we have to be a little bit careful talking about. We did a study out of Spain that looked at C. elegans. C. elegans are a modified worm, if you will, that are very similar to humans genetically, despite um, their phenotypic characteristics being very different than us. Genetically, they are very similar and are an accepted model for longevity around the world. So we did a study out of Spain, and we found that there was an increase in longevity by about 15% as far as the max lifespan of these C. elegans when treated 3 times a week with the Asea redox. What's interesting is we did 3 tests on this. We did control, which was just saline, and And incidentally, that saline is the exact saline that we use to manufacture our product. We sent that and said, hey, this is the closest thing that we can use as a control to our product. So we sent them saline that they used. It's the exact saline we used to manufacture. We treated C. elegans with that saline. We treated C. elegans one time up front with a large dose of redox signaling molecules, and then we treated C. elegans 3 times a week with redox signaling molecules throughout their lifespan. And what we found was one single dose of Asea up front didn't really have any marked changes over the control. There wasn't really anything statistically significant as far as longevity is concerned. But when we went to 3 times a week throughout the lifespan, we saw a 15% increase in maximum lifespan,
Wow.
which is really significant as far as when you look at total lifespan. A 15% increase is a really large number. Um, and and so what we found was we wanted to know, okay, well, what was it that caused this increase in longevity? So we went through and did a genetic panel screening to look at which genes were upregulated in order to achieve this result. So we looked at what are called the KEGG, KEG, and GO catalogs that have logged data on genetic pathway, function that it serves. Genetic pathway, this is what the function that it does. And we found that there were several dozens, in fact, pathways that were tied to both longevity and neuroprotection that were increased in activity by supplementing the redox signaling molecules 3 times a week. So
Wow.
couple of takeaways here is one, in this test for C. elegans, which are largely accepted as a worldwide model for longevity and aging, we upregulated with the redox signaling molecules genes that are tied to longevity and neuroprotection. The other conclusion is that a single dose is not going to do it for you. You need to stay consistently taking the product in order to receive the benefit. Um, the C. elegans that we administered just a single dose to, there's really no significant improvement. But those that were regularly exposed to the redox signaling molecules saw the increase in longevity.
And that makes perfect sense to me, because obviously our cells of our body are regenerating, repairing, turning over all the time. So it makes sense that you've got to keep putting the good input in there to do it. So that's absolutely huge. Amazing. My last real question about the Asea, which I get asked a lot, Hunter, is about the safety aspects of it. So it's something that's on the forefront of everyone's mind. Talk us through a little bit about how safe this product is.
Yeah, this product is 100% non-toxic, non-mutagenic. Non-mutagenic. You cannot drink enough of this product to achieve toxic levels. You would achieve water poisoning before you would achieve anything toxic from this product. We have multiple tests from third-party labs that we've done toxicological and mutagenicity studies on, showing 100% that this is a safe product. We've had 14 years now of distributing this product all around the world. We've never had a serious adverse event reported. This product is as safe of a product as I can think of in the health and wellness space that you drink. As far as supplements go, especially, it is an extremely safe product. The manufacturing tolerances have never been tighter. We have absolute control of what is going into the product. We use the highest grade salt, USP grade salt possible. It's the same stuff that goes into saline solutions for medical applications here in the United States. We use ultra purified water in a 2-step process. This is the cleanest product that I know of, and one of the safest that I know of because of the use history, because of the tests we've put it through. This is an incredibly safe product that changes people's lives.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm completely blown away, which is why I wanted to share all this with more widely with my audience, because you explain it so beautifully. You've got the science, but you can.
Okay, I'm going to end the interview there. And I realize that for a lot of people, this is not the most interesting topic. But if you have health issues and you want to feel better, then this could be the thing for you. If you're an athlete, or if you know someone who's an athlete, a professional athlete, I'm sure this will help you. If you're struggling to earn money and you're looking for a way to supplement your income, or if you're looking maybe even to start a new career, and you think that this might be it for you, then it very well could be. I mean, someone who's really a go-getter, and you know, I guess back in the day we used to go around knocking on doors, but if you're like good with social media, then you could actually earn a very good living with this product. Uh, so once again, I want to make my offer that if you give me a few minutes to meet with you in a private Zoom meeting, so I can tell you about how you could become an associate or become a consumer of Asea for your own personal health, then email me. We'll set up an appointment, and I'll give you a free 10-minute mini reading for listening to my pitch, so to speak. But let me just say that I wouldn't be talking about this product if I didn't 100% believe in the science behind it and the efficacy. I knew I was going to mess that word up. The effectiveness of it. I've been using it myself now for over a month, and I definitely noticed a difference. Even though I was relatively healthy, I have no illnesses that I know of, but just an overall better feeling, even in mood as well. Easier to get out of bed in the morning, easier to do my 3 to 5 mile hikes, a quicker recovery time when I get home from my exercise. So I think I think this is a, a revolutionary product, and it's only been around for 14 years. That's the other thing I like about this. That's pretty recent as far as like supplements and health breakthroughs go. So if you were to get into this now and become an associate and start selling it, you would be like getting in pretty much at the ground floor. I mean, think about big companies that have been around for decades and decades and now are huge. Well, 20 years from now, Asea is going to be like that. And you could say that you got in on it at an earlier stage. Okay, well, I want to thank everybody who tuned in today. Or if you walked, there weren't very many, which I totally understand. But if you're watching this in replay, then I appreciate you. And I want to say thank you to Hunter Dean for his information, and to Cathrine Edwards for bringing the interview to us. And I'm going to say goodbye and thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation and interview. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.